the last 24 hours, India has registered about 5,609 fresh cases of coronavirus, taking the total tally on Thursday up to 1,12,359 with 3,435 deaths. Now, May 21st in India is marked as the National Anti-Terrorism Day. Now, terrorism brings to mind religious extremism, power dynamics, hunger for resources leading to war-ravaged countries. What we are going through currently is nothing short of a war-like situation. This pandemic is nothing short of a war because our response to it has to be of the same nature as we would have when we are dealing, if and when we are dealing with a war. It has to be robust, it has to be immediate, comprehensive. There's going to be an economic fallout to this entire crisis, which we'll have to navigate in the future. But the enemy, in this case, is of a different nature. What this pandemic has done is, it has exposed our vulnerabilities across the world, be it any nation. The United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres had last month cited this very fact. He had said, and I quote, that this pandemic has exposed many vulnerabilities. Terrorists are seeing an opportunity to strike. Groups are seeing how a biological terrorist attack might unfold. The erosion of trust in public institutions, economic instability, political tensions from postponing elections, uncertainty sparking further division and turmoil in some countries, and COVID-19 triggering or exacerbating various human rights challenges. So going forward, nations and people within the nations, all of us have to be united so that the divisions do not further weaken us and help these elements who thrive on chaos win. Now, in order to really shine a spotlight on our weaknesses, we must admit and realize that a tiny virus has brought many of the best healthcare systems across the world to their knees. If we have to consider bioterror as a real threat, then our response to it has to be much better than what it has been. What the way the world has dealt with this pandemic, it's exposed how unprepared we all are. So there is an urgent need to ramp up our healthcare infrastructure. There's an urgent need to train medical staff, and I'm talking particularly in India. There's an urgent need to train medical staff to help them identify such potentially life-threatening diseases, peculiar pathogens acting differently. There's an urgent need for us as citizens to be more responsible, to be able to break the chain of the spread of a disease if this happens once again in the future. There's a lot of learning we need to do. So once we are through this immediate crisis of the pandemic, there is an urgent need to plug the deficiencies in our healthcare system, even as we build our defenses in terms of armies and weapons. Let me now quickly take you through some of the updates that we have this morning. In a big development now, the Civil Aviation Ministry has decided to restart domestic flights from May the 25th in a calibrated manner, and the SOP guidelines for the resumption of flights for airports and for passengers has been released by the Civil Aviation Ministry. Among these is the use of the Arogya Setu app. Every mobile phone will have to have this application downloaded. Apart from that, it's unlikely now that the middle seat of the flights will be kept vacant. The government is not going to do that. However, other measures of social distancing at airports will apply. A mask will be necessary throughout the course of the journey, and airports have been asked to make necessary arrangements for the sanitation of passengers' baggage before they enter the airport premises. In other news, medical staff in some states like Gujarat have asked the authorities to very strictly regulate the operation of salons and spas. Salons and spas have prolonged contact. The people there, the employees, have prolonged contact with customers, and it can become a virus spreading hub. And the medical staff were already burdened with so many rising cases of coronavirus. They have asked the authorities to be very cautious with the reopening of such services, and they have recommended very strongly that all the employees at salons and spas wear PPEs and N95 masks even as they service their customers. The medical staff has also recommended that only non-symptomatic employees be allowed to serve, that there should be an RT-PCR test conducted on each one of the staff members at these beauty parlors and salons, and only then should they be allowed to service their customers. That's all we have for you today. Thanks for watching.